to earn more. You have to learn more to earn more. We live in a knowledge-based society. We don't have to farm, okay? We don't have to hunt for food. So who really makes money nowadays is people who know the most. So for example, if special forces say, we have so many injuries with parachuting, how do you fix that? Then I get hired and I explain them how to train to resist the forces when the parachute opens, because guys are in a bad position. Usually they have 40 kilos of equipment on them, and then when they land, they jam their knees, get lower back injuries. So what I do is I prepare them physically to handle landings, and I also teach weapon disarming. How to take a weapon from somebody, right, and how to retain the weapon. But those skills come from being the best strength coach in the world. I show them the fastest way to do it. To learn more, to earn more, number one priority, take a speed reading course. How many of you have done speed reading? Not enough, just a few hands. Okay. If you're a complete idiot, a speed reading course will improve reading speed 4 times. If your IQ is better than normal, you will increase your reading speed 16 times. Okay? That's a lot. Now, I make it a point to read at least a book a week, but I tend to read a book a day. Okay? For example, from Boston to San Francisco, I can read 7 books. I'll give you a trick. I don't buy paper books. I buy Kindle books. Because if you're a good speed reader, you read from the top down in a diagonal. He who takes the least amount of notes wins. He who takes the least amount of notes wins. So when people highlight a book, they highlight a whole paragraph. That is a mistake. So when I scan a paragraph, I look for the most important word. Then I highlight one word, just one. Why? I want to train my brain to remember the concept based on one word. I was number 1 in graduate school at university. My fellow students after the first semester said, "Hey, the exams are coming up. Can I see your notes?" Sure. For 45 hours of classes, my average number of notes was 6 words. People go, "Fuck, that's your notes?" Yeah. And people say, like, "How do you do so well?" I listen. So notes are just anchors to remember. So if you're typing or writing, you're wasting your time. Listen in front to the person talking to you, and after a lecture, you may write one word. So at the end, before the exams, okay, that was Krebs cycle, that was glycolytic pathway, whatever, right? Memory is very useful, and it is trainable. It just takes discipline. Does that make sense? Good. So the top 5% earners, it doesn't matter if you sell real estate, you sell donuts, you're a strength coach, you're a lawyer, they have two things in common. They do 4 seminars a year, but they earn 80% of the money. So today and tomorrow, you're away from family and friends, but you're going to be in the top earners, okay? I've been the top earner in the strength coaching industry since 1994. But the way I stay ahead is I learn every day. There's a magical number. 8 hours a week is the minimum you need to learn. So maybe your job doesn't allow you to learn on the job, but you could do your Saturdays where you learn, okay? I learn all the time. I don't waste time. So at the airport, in the plane, they say, turn off all electronic things. Then I buy a paper book and I read the book. I never waste time. It's very important that you have a quench for that. But the people who make the most money in their professions learn 16 hours a week. Okay. That's what I do. Okay. I take seminars, and there's a saying, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. So I read all the time. So you have to refine your skills. So in my field, I got better at anatomy, at kinesiology, evaluation, program design, nutrition, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the Jim Rohn rule. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you could spend time, if you took your 5 friends and you do their education, you do their salary, and you put an Excel table, you divide by 5, that's you. So if you want to get better, you need to be around different people. Okay? You have to move up. Okay? So this type of thing attracts clients. So because I trained Ellen and she won, this big guy from Estonia hired me to become world champion in wrestling, in Greco. So he comes to see me, I train him. Sometimes I go to my gym in Marbella. I own a gym there. He comes in, give him a new program. But success breeds success. You have to be so good, they can't ignore you. If you realize that, your life is going to change. Okay? So focus on being so good that they cannot ignore you. The walking business card rule. When you meet people, people assess you in 4 seconds. Then it takes them 30 seconds to confirm their diagnosis of you or their perception of you. Right? So in my industry, the audio has to match the video. So if I was a fat pig with no muscle, would you listen to me? No. Even with all my success, part of my business cards is the way I look. Yesterday at the gym, the guy said, hey, at your age, you are still in good shape. A, because I love it, but B, I make my living out of it. If I teach special forces things and I look like Woody Allen, I'm not going to sell very well. If I can outlive the 19-year-olds, I get respect. It doesn't mean you need to be in shape in your field, but what I'm saying is that the audio always has to match the video. Does that make sense? Okay. You have self-explanatory style. So, how you explain things to your brain does a lot for you. So, Robin Williams said that divorce is castration through the wallet. So obviously, he's not happily divorced, right? And fortunately, we lost him. But this is what I want you to consider. Did this happen to me? Or did this happen for me? I had a very nasty divorce. I wrote a big check. I sold my business for practically nothing, but I wanted peace. Peace is more important than wealth and being unhappy. I was told, you're going to be back in 6 months begging for your job back. No way. When I left the company, I said, okay, today I need to work. I said to myself, I'm going to make it work. It's a good thing for me that I'm losing all my money. And it took me 9 weeks to make the same amount of money with one employee that my ex-wife made in a year with 28 employees. So I didn't cry. I said, hey, that's a great occasion to be a phoenix, to rise from the ashes. So you could have an excuse or you can have a reason. I don't like excuses. I love reasons. And of course, my ex-wife, when she's making now 6% of what she's making the first year I left, okay? Because I'm not there. She thought she didn't need me. Why is the company name Poliquin? That would be your first clue. Regarding branding, fuck Facebook, okay? It doesn't do shit for you, okay? Marginally it helps, okay? But, yeah, people say, what about Google and YouTube? Fuck Google. Concentrate on YouTube, because Google changes the algorithm very, very frequently, so you have to hire guys with SEO to figure out what do they want. YouTube, if you do videos, there's very, very easy to SEO that. So if somebody tells you, oh, I'm going to give you Google, AdWords, that, they're full of shit. Concentrate right now. Maybe it's going to change next year, but if you want to go ahead, concentrate on YouTube, okay? And people like the interaction. You'll be able to see who you are and what you do. Okay. Introduce 2 sets of people per day. This comes from Michael Port. It's another good book. If you work in a job where you do one-on-one, like a massage therapist, personal trainer, lawyer, this is a very, very good book because it will teach you principles to increase your business. Okay? So if you're in a one-on-one business, this is very good. So this is my friend Tatiana. She's really ugly, isn't she? But she is very good at introducing people. I wanted to be on Dave Asprey's podcast. A lot of my fans would write to David. She asked him. I was there the next week. Okay? There are people like that. We call them mavens in English. There are people that can get to communicate to others. Okay? So, and then Dave and I have become friends. Okay? And Dave gives me business advice. It's over $100 million company. But Tatiana was the mid person. She also introduced me to Kamal Navikant. He's a New York Times bestseller, 4 books on New York Times bestseller. He is probably one of the experts on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and now we're friends. Again, what you appreciate, appreciates. So I really appreciate Tatiana's networking. So if she asks me for something, I do it. This is probably, and it's translated in Italian, it's probably one of the most important books you'll ever read. Who has a copy of it? Okay, you want to be successful? Buy the one thing. I would say, I wish I read that when I was 12 years old. It is the most important lifestyle book. So when I decide what is my legacy task for the day, I answer this question. What is the one thing I can do today such by doing it, everything else will be easy or unnecessary? So every day, the one thing for me is leaving a legacy. For you, it could be very different, but a lot of times people say to me, how do you do it all? I don't. I choose priorities. It looks like I'm doing it all. There's a lot of other stuff I'd like to do, but I've got to make priorities like anybody else. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Richard Branson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you all have 24 hours in a day. I mean, they did, but you have 24 hours. It's what you do with your 24 hours that makes the difference between being great or achieving excellence. This is another very good book, The Compassionate Samurai. Unfortunately, the man has passed away. One of the things I drew from this book is honor your time and your worth. I suggest when you go home tonight, I don't know how to say it in Italian, but just write down, I honor my time and my worth. In this world, you don't get known by the jobs you take, you get known by the jobs you refuse. Let me give you an example. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson came to my gym in Phoenix. He said, I want you to train me for my next fight. I said, no. He goes, are you saying this because I'm black? I said, no. Why? Because you're a wife beater and you're a rapist. And then he had 12 guys in his entourage. Right? I was the only white guy in the room. And then they all left, and Tyson went like this. Okay. And he left. The boxing coach says, you have balls. I said, yes. He goes, how can you say something like that? I said, well, I don't like wife beaters. I don't like rapists. And to me, they shoot them, target practice. And I opened the door to my gym, and there was a lot of famous athletes. And I said, all these guys are married with kids. I bring Tyson in because I want to make the money. The wives will say, why is that rapist in the gym? That's another reason. But it first started with me. I don't want a guy like that in my gym. It's bad energy. I don't like people like that. If it was up to me, you shoot child molesters. Well, they're a waste of DNA. Invest in the best. Always go straight to the source. That's it. So, I want to be a better writer. If you want to learn how to write, go on medium.com and look at the way he writes. He's the most popular writer on medium.com. 2 years ago, he was making $15,000 a year as a PhD student, and now he's making multiple millions a year from his writing. But I told Frank, if you want to bring somebody really good to help your Italian customers, this is the man to learn from. I use this stuff all the time. So follow my medium.com. There's a Bulgarian saying, I cannot afford to buy cheap. I'm a strong believer you buy once and it is for life. Okay. So in the industry, I didn't like the dumbbells. So this man approached me and I wrote a few weeks before, thank you for the man that's going to make the dumbbells the way I want it. So this British guy comes, he goes, I heard you like fat grip dumbbells. I have a design. He shows it to me. I go, no. You need to do this. I give him instructions. 3 weeks later, I'm back in London. The guy says, I have the best dumbbells now. I said, no. You forgot this, you forgot that. Okay, I'll be back. 6 months later, I'm in London. I have the best dumbbells the way you like it. No. Okay, I'm a perfectionist, but that's good. Doesn't make you a bad person. I said, I'll see you in 2 months. He comes back. He says, I'm 100% sure I have the best dumbbells. He goes, yes, you have the best dumbbells. I said, I want to make an order right now. He goes, you will buy them? Yes. No, for you, they're free. Okay, I like that price. Free 99. So I sell so many of them that I get a new set. It's worth about $250,000 because I have a lot of dumbbells every 6 months. Do I keep them for myself? No. I give them to my best students. It's a big gift, but I'm not a hogger. I don't accumulate wealth. I give it away. I want people to do well. So I had a guy that worked for me for 20 years. He had bad financial situation. He said, hey, can you give me some equipment? I want to do a gym. So he comes to my house. He wanted plates and bars. I get them for free. I said, here's sets from the World Championships. They were still in a box. I said, here you go. He goes, oh man, thanks. I said, do you want dumbbells? He goes, oh, I can't afford the dumbbells. I said, no, they're free. Bring a truck. They're yours. Really? Yes. I give it away. Okay? It's very important. I'm repeating myself, not because I'm senile, but I want to make this point. Be generous. It always comes back, right? So then I call Simon. I need some new dumbbells. No problem. I'm opening up a gym next week. He says, I'll make you even nicer ones. And these are the dumbbells he's sending me, right? Schwarzenegger's got them in his house. Many actors, Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne Johnson, use those dumbbells. I designed them. They're the best in the world. Always choose the best food. You only have one body. If you had a Ferrari, would you put the worst quality of gas in it? No. You'd put the best type of fuel. Well, you only have one body. Treat it like if it was a Ferrari. Always use the best food. Knowledge not applied is useless. Ed Cohn, 77 times, had the world record in a deadlift. He gives good advice. And I tell my students, always go for the best. You could listen to some internet nerd with arms the size of a linguine, or you could go see Ed and learn from the best. People have to condition their mind not to be price-centered, but to be quality-centered. For me, price is never an issue. Maybe I can't afford it now, but I arrange my thoughts to create wealth. Write this down. Wealth is a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. When I was in university, I was so poor that the furniture in my apartment was painted on the wall. I would put my ass against the wall. That was my chair. Okay? I had no money. But I started to donate when I was in university. And then my life changed. The finger in the eye technique. What does that mean? So every famous person is protected by bodyguards, right? So they always have an entourage. A story I tell my students is this. I used to work for Prince Albert of Monaco. One of his sisters was hard to manage. She had many babies with bodyguards. So they hired one bodyguard that could keep it in his pants. So he hired this French special force guy. And the commando says, I need training. So they sent him to Israel to train with the Israelis to learn Krav Maga, which is not a martial art, it's a killing system. And he gets really good. He's the only non-Jew that gets to the top, second in a row. So they get a contract with the French Secret Service, with the French called les hommes du président, the president's men. They're very good, the French. So they bring this Israeli guy and my friend. The leader, the Israeli, says to the French Secret Service, let's do a situation. A thing that could happen is that the president is kissing babies, shaking hands, and some idiot grabs his collar and brings him in. It could happen. So he says, you are the president of France, you are the bodyguards, and you're the bad guy. So the bad guy, who's also, of course, Secret Service, grabs the president, who's also another police officer. And then he says, okay, break it up. So there's one guy pulls on a bad guy, one guy pulls on the president, one guy gets in the arm lock and he squats down very fast, and it takes 3 staff to solve the problem to save the president. So the Israeli says, this is the French way. Let me show you Israeli way. So they get again the same situation. He grabs the president. So he says, grab the president. So the bad guy grabs the president. The Israeli goes like this, poof! Sticks the finger right in the eye of the bad guy. The guy drops to the floor. Ah! And he goes, French way, 3 staff, 10 seconds. Israeli way, 1 person, 1 technique, 1 second. What's the moral of this story? You should always look for the fastest way to solve the problem. I call this finger in the eye technique. I always tell the story to my students. Because I want them to get into efficiency. I was listening to Frank, he talked about efficiency. So finger in one eye, it's pretty effective. Doesn't matter if the guy's built like Brian Shaw, weighs 180 kilos. If I stick my finger up to here in his eye, he's going to go down. Guaranteed. Anybody want to try out? Okay, you're convinced. This is very important to me. Do today what the others will copy tomorrow. I'll give you a good example. Orville Wright. Did he have a pilot license before flying? Yes or no? No. He said, I want to fly. Didn't ask for permission, didn't have a permit, he just did it. So I have the same philosophy. It's one of my secrets to success. So I wrote an article in 1988 on 5 ways to improve training in an American publication. It is the most stolen periodical in history from university libraries. I have the record. Because people love the information. So I was like the Nostradamus of strength training. The real article, I wrote it in 1982. Somebody read it and said, can we have it? So I improved it, put it in there. If you look, these are some of the stuff I said in that periodical. This study was 2004. This tells you 216, 217, 218. So I knew how to train before the research said it. I didn't need a study. I said, this is the best way to train. This is based on my observations. So now people are doing this. But how many Olympics has there been since then? If you do an average, there's 2 Olympics per quadrant. If you do the math, I was ahead 32 Olympics than anybody else. I did not wait for research to confirm it before I took a decision. I decided to do it, and then I will say research can catch up to me, and by the time you catch up to me, I'm 40 years ahead, right? Does that make sense? Yes. So I don't need other people to validate what I pick. Be your own person. Be confident. You need to win to have confidence. You don't need confidence to win. You need confidence to win. You need you get your confidence by winning. So win, 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 more confidence. So, again, if you want discounts, talk to Karen, send her the email, and she'll give you a discount. It's a special because you're Frank students, but the special is going to go away very fast. Make sense? So, time for questions. So line yourselves up. I'll take the microphone, the earphone, and then line up, please.